Hello warriors, today we are going to talk about some basics against knife attack because they are everywhere and they are the most dangerous weapon that you can encounter on the street. So how should we defend? Well, keep watching. We did a full-length video before about talking how the real knife attack will actually look and what you should be prepared for. Definitely go look at that video because it will be very useful for this one. Very quick recap, our attacker is not going to be just far away, he's going to be pretty close. His second hand will not be dead, will be clinching me, maybe hitting me. It will not be just one strike but multiple like a sewing machine. It's going to be brutal, so his whole body is going to be pushing me, kicking me, and many times we will end up on the ground as well. Why we are saying this? Because with these facts we can know which techniques are definitely the bad ones and which ones are the useful ones. To really understand how SORUDO solves knives, it will be on an example where we are going to know that the attacker is coming, he's probably threatening me, and he has shown me the knife before. The reality of the murder is probably not going to look like that, but to learn the absolute basics, this is crucial because you cannot jump into big dynamic situation because it will be very hard. So in the first, you have to train with a longer distance and the knife has been shown. Before we even start to really address the knife, what we first need to do is recognize the threat and right away create a distance. Because knife is a very short weapon, we need to create a distance. And I know that many of you are thinking, oh, of course, that makes sense, right? Well, it does until it doesn't, because when we do scenarios or model situations, we see the same common mistake that people just stay in one place. And we are not talking only about average guys, but fighters, military, policemen, they all do the same things. Mostly what you see is once they can see the attacker with a knife, they automatically go into their guard. And now they're hoping that one shot will KO me. And most of the times it doesn't, because they are standing in one place and they're just gonna get stabbed many times. What you can see as well is they try to clinch with a knife attacker or going for takedowns, which will again lead to being in one place and getting stabbed about hundreds of times. And another thing many people try is just blocking and staying in one place, which will be very problematic because if one block works, doesn't mean that I'm not following up with the second one. I know it sounds obvious to create a distance, but it's not obvious. So right away when you see the threat, the first thing you need to do is create a big distance between you. Because we always say that we are the only system, it's because we have some algorithm that you need to go step by step when you are facing an attack. Of course, depending on the dynamic of the situation, sometimes you are starting from different point than the first. But in this case, for absolute basics, when he knows about me and he knows I have a weapon, he's going to do the 7 steps. First, what he's going to do right away is going to recognize the threat. When I'm screaming, hey motherfucker, he's going to turn to me, not just ignore me. He will start creating the distance right away as much as he can. While he's doing that, he's preparing his weapon. For us, is always going to be baton. Then he starts to communicate with me. Maybe I'll buy you a drink, it's better than getting stabbed. You're right, of course. If I'm still coming at him, he will do stop, enough! Stop effect, which in many cases, about 50% of the times, it stops the attacker. During rape, when it comes to knife fighting, it's so-so, but in bar fight can definitely work. The stop effect, if I will just leave, okay, the fight is over and he disappears. If the stop effect didn't work and I make a step forward, he goes into fight and flight, so he fights and then flies. And once he's gone, when maybe you come to lock yourself in bathroom or with multiple people, he's going to do a self-check of checking if maybe he got stabbed or cut in the process. He saw it, he can now address it. In this case, it can be basically any weapon. It could be not only baton, it can be even a pistol if you do carry one. It can be an improvised weapon as well. So when we are talking it's a bar fight, it will be very easy to grab a chair. It could be a book. We have a very good video on improvised weapons. Of course, the improvised weapons are going to take a lot more time because when we are talking, the attack is happening in the bathroom. Try to take the toilet seat. It's going to take a lot of time. But yes, still, even improvised weapon is still better than non-weapon. How do we solve it in SORUDO? With our bare hands? Right away, it's not optimal. You should always be defending the best with your weapon. But just to show, we can definitely do it. But it will always depend from the distance that we are. So first we're going to start off with the longest distance, which is going to be about 2 arms length. So when we step, it's going to be 2 arms extended. In this situation, I will have to be screaming, threatening, and you will have to have a lot of distance between you. I'm walking forward, you created your distance, and you are going to solve it with a hamster. In this case, what we did is we moved away. We didn't just stay in one place. It would be the same as just standing and trying to block. The guy is going to run through because he's going to be probably bigger, stronger. The same would be if he would be having a spear. Or if you just imagine a bus, he will just run through you. You need to get off the center line of where I am trying to step. Of course, we are talking ideal scenario because we have the distance and lots of training, because you're not going to be able to do the hamster just, oh, I saw the video, because you need to have the right timing and you need to know when actually should I attack and how should I move. So what about the hamster? This technique is not to absolutely knock me out and destroy me. Principle of the hamster is that we don't even actually need a block right now, because the distance is just about right for us to get out of the pathway of the knife. Here we are not going to be counting, or I'm just going to hit him once, because this is not even a technique to knock me out. This is a technique for me to close my eyes, distract me for a second, and he's running away or drawing a pistol or his weapon. The 1 second or maybe 2 seconds when I'm here, close my eyes and I turn around, he has his weapon ready. So it could be good for policemen. Basically anything, if you carry your weapon. If you do not, you just run away. You don't have to be sitting there and waiting. It's basically slaps, so it's not close fist strikes. And there's about 2 to 3 of them in very quick sense after each other. So the good use of hamster is going to be even when you are carrying your weapon. It's good that you have it, but from the distance where the knife attacks usually start, you don't have the time. Pierre has been training with special forces for multiple years, and even they don't know how to, from 2 meters, draw and shoot before they get stabbed. So it's not about how good you are, it's just in this space there's no position for it. If I'm too close, no matter how fast he's going to be, I'm going to be stabbing already. So before he draws, it's what, 3, 4, 5 steps, which is way too late. For the more experienced fighters now, even for you, it's always going to be better to be on the side than in front. Just imagine if you are trying to box with me here. You can be saying, but 1 shot would knock him out. No, and to be counting on that with your life, definitely a bad idea. The same goes for takedowns. Do you really want to take me down from here? I'm stabbing, I have no problem stopping. Even if you are taking me to the ground, okay, I'm laying and I'm still stabbing. So that's the good use of the hamster, because when you get to the side, now you have all the space here. So that's why even for you, most experienced fighters that you can be on the side. You know it from your sport, it's always better to be on the side than in front of your attacker. So now we're going to shorten the distance a little bit, and we are going to be starting from 1 arm's length, so somewhere here. Now, if we will just do the hamster, there's a big possibility that I can actually stab him, because we don't have that much space here. So what we actually need to do here is exactly the same thing, but we need to add the block here. After it, again, escaping, creating distance, drawing your weapon. It's always going to be easier to just be the one who's just running at you, like you can see in Aikidos and other styles. They only train a guy running, but no one is saying that the guy is running and then he stopped a little bit and now he's tacticizing a little bit and wants to stab you. Here, you will have to add the block so I don't go through you. We are not just standing in one place and blocking and hitting till the absolute end. What we are doing here is, the block is just some kind of insurance that I'm not going to go through. You need to still move and get out of there, so we're not standing in one place. Once after I get hit, he's escaping, creating the distance. This is the key point against knife. Move is life. Don't be stagnating in one place. Second thing you see is we are not punching with our hands. Have you ever tried to hit a wall with your head? Or have you actually hit some like forehead? Even boxers who have big gloves break their hands in fights because they hit this spot. Now imagine in this big instance, he hits my forehead and now his hand breaks. And now he's left with 1 arm and I have a knife. So what we are doing is slapping. It's just to distract me for a little bit, let me close my eyes to create a distance. Now we are getting even closer, or maybe the closest to reality, because the distance is going to be very, very short. Even here, when we are talking about short distance, it doesn't mean that he cannot create a distance. If he sees me in the corner of his eye having a knife, he can always create a distance. Let's say that we didn't saw the knife. What here we will have to do is this. So I'm here, hop. In this instance, we are doing exactly the same thing, but it's more about your muscle memory of what you want to do, because it's going to be surprising. But there's a big difference between just, when you go from behind, just standing and waiting and getting stabbed, and actually having some muscle memory of I get hit once, 2. This is what the training will do, so we will not just freeze in the moment and get stabbed, but you have the first muscle memory of, okay, I got stabbed, block and hitting, and again, creating the distance, going away, drawing your weapon. What you need to do is actually give the attacker some reason to stop the fight, stop stabbing, because when you are just going to be practicing that, okay, I see a knife and I'm going to start clinching, is the wrestling or the clinching actually stopping me from stabbing? There's no way. Even when you are a big, strong guy, do you know how hard it is just to hold my hand from doing this? Which every single this means a big stab or cut. Don't just stand in one place and try to wrestle clinch with him. You need to hit him and that will give him the reason to stop. The angles are going to do a lot, so when we are talking about multiple angles, different arm will be blocking and different arm will be hitting. In this case, the closest arm will always be blocking because it's the closest to the knife. When we are talking about this angle right here, you can see the left hand is here, this one will block, and the second one is hitting me, giving me a reason to stop. If we are talking the other side, the right hand is here, that means when he's blocking, right away he can hit. When we are maybe talking completely from behind, it's a bit different because we need to hitting me right away. That will give me the reason to stop, not any wrestling. You need to recognize where you are, which hand is closer to the knife, and which one it will be striking. It should mostly be your dominant hand. Of course, the action just doesn't stop, because if I'm a junkie who wants to really murder him, why would I stop after 1-2 strikes? What you need to do here is again just move either completely away from me or right to me. So in this case, what you need to do is go from the very short distance to the longest one that you can. Even better, maybe get some obstacles between you. Maybe we are talking something like a car, and now I cannot reach him with a knife and he has a car in front of him. Again, even more advantages to you, but you cannot just be standing in one place and hoping that one strike will end it. All of this is just a complete basic look at how we solve the knife. So you cannot be after this video, okay, so I just know what I'm supposed to do. Of course not. This is just the complete basic of basics against knife attack. You cannot be completely basic about the knife attack because knife is brutal, is quick. Every single slash and stab means that I may never move my hand ever in my life, because that's how dangerous this weapon is. And we still haven't spoken about themes of, okay, so what if he clinched me during the attack? Because it doesn't look like I can do hamster here. The same goes if he grabs my clothes. We are even talking about we are on the ground now with a knife, completely different problem. Or I'm just sitting on a bus minding my business and I start getting stabbed. Those are all the things that can come into the knife fight. But for this video, there's just not enough time, and the training that you need is as much as you can, because knife, you need to really to have it in you. All of these would deserve even more videos, even more explanation. Just about the hamster, we could be talking hours. The best thing to do is not just to watch the videos, but come and actually train with us. Online trainings, courses, even better offline trainings, because that will actually show you what is the real knife attack and how to solve it in SORUDO way. If you are not training about 80% of the time with a knife, what are you training for? Is it bear hugs? Takedowns? Why exactly? Because this is what will kill you in a street fight. Anyone has it in their home, anyone knows how to at least cut and stab with it, because everyone holds the knife in their hand, and it's accessible everywhere. Every single shop where you want to go, it has a knife in there. That's why you need to train for this, because it's the most dangerous thing you can encounter. That's why you need to put at least 80% of your training just into the knives. Write us in the comments if you want to see some problematics when it comes to clinching, grabbing, so we can show you how we would solve it. Share the video with as much people as you can, because many people maybe look at knife defense different ways, they're training wrong. This video can actually show them, okay, so this is how I should be training. If you do agree with us when it comes to knives, like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we are going to be talking about even more videos about the knife than just this one. Thank you for reaching the end of the video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.